In today's tutorial, we're going to make a poncho. This one here is a little newborn poncho, so it's really little. I've got a bigger one over here. There we go. It's probably a kiddie's one, but we're going to make a grey one. I've got this lovely huge ball of wool, the Snowball Mega 300 gram. The color is, does it say? The color is grey, okay, surprisingly, and the needle size is a 5. I'm going to use a 6, I think, just to make it a little bit of a looser look. So I'm going to be making one similar to this for myself, and possibly add in a bit of texture like this one has, with these different colors, shades of grey and black, just to give it some interest. I really love that kind of look. This little one has got the bobble stitch border, which I might do as well. But yeah, let's see. As we mentioned, we've got our grey wool. We're going to also need a pair of scissors and a needle, a sewing needle, but that will only come later to sew in the ends. All right, so to get going, we're going to do a slip knot on our hook. And you need to make a chain long enough to fit over your head. The one for the newborn, I think I made 60 chains. And for the bigger one, probably about 80. I think for mine, I'm going to need at least 90. So I'm going to chain 90 and then just double check that it is going to fit over my head. If I need a few more, if it's too big, but I think it will be around 90 chains that we need to make to start. Okay, so I'm going to carry on and do those 90 chains, and then we'll see whether that will be a good number. But basically you just need to measure and see that if you put it around the circumference of your head, that it will fit. Okay, so let's do our chains. Okay, I've done my 90 chains, and it seems like that's a good number for me. It fits loosely over my head, so I'm going to stick with 90 chains. The next thing you do is you run your thumb along the length of the chains. We're just making sure that they are flat, that it's lying straight, and then you're going to take the two ends together and put your needle into the first chain you made and slip stitch the two sides together. So slip stitch there and there. Okay, and then you can start there, but I'm going to just move over slightly just so that I can, the first couple stitches seem easier. So I'm going to slip stitch 2 across, just so that I'm not dealing with this whole beginning join. It seems to make things a little bit tricky. Okay, so I've just slip stitched 2 over, and I'm going to start there. Okay, so to start, we're going to do a chain 3, and that's our first double crochet of our first cluster. We're going to go back into that same stitch, and we're going to do another 2 double crochets to make up our first cluster. And then because it is the corner, we are going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to do another cluster back into that same chain. Okay, so another 3 double crochets back into that same chain that we've done all our double crochets. Okay, so there we go. That's how you start. You start with 1 cluster, 2 chains, and another granny cluster. All right, so now in between each cluster that we make now, there are going to be 2 chains. There's a tiny one there, and there's another one there. So this is the next one that we're going to go into. So go into that chain, and from here on until we get to the other side, we're just going to do 1 cluster into every 3rd stitch, Okay, there we go. We've missed 2 and we've gone into that one. We're going to miss that one and we're going to miss that one and we're going to go into that one. So yarn over and into that one. This is your starting chain. So yeah, it's always the trickiest to work into. As you know, it gets easier from there. So just go slowly and make sure you doing your 3 into each third chain. Okay, let's carry on. 1, 2, there's the third one, and we're going to carry on. Okay, we are going to, they're going to be, I don't know the exact number, I will tell you in a moment, but there are at least 10 clusters on each side. So carry on and do quite a few. Let's do 10 clusters and then we'll double check where the next corner will be. Okay, I've done 10 clusters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it definitely looks like we can fit in another 3 or so before we get to the other side. So I'm going to do another 3. So that'll be 13. I missed that one into that one. And I think after those 3, we will be ready to do the opposite side. Okay, I've done 13 and it does look like we can fit in one more. We're going to 1, 2, do one more cluster into there and then we will do the other side of the poncho. Okay, so skip 1, 2 into that third one for our last cluster before we do the other side. Okay, and we get to do the other side. It's going to be the same. We're going to skip 1, 2 and into the third one we're going to do exactly like we did to start. We're going to do a cluster and then 2 chains and then another cluster straight into that same space. Okay, let's get some wool here. Okay, back into that same space. So there we go, back into that same space and do another 3 double crochets. And then you've made the other side of your poncho, the V on each side. And you're going to do the same on the way back. 1, 2, into the third one. You're going to do a cluster of 3 double crochets, miss 2, another cluster, and you should have around 13, 14, about the same number of clusters on your other side. If there's a difference of 1 or so, it doesn't matter, you will not notice. Okay, so carry on and then I will show you how to connect when you get to the other side, when you get to the beginning. All right, let's do that. Okay, there we go. We've done both sides and there are 14 clusters on each side. And here we are, finished the last one. And we're going to join to the top chain that we made of that first double crochet of the cluster. And we're going to slip stitch in there. Okay, and then we've done a complete round. Just double check that fits over your head. It should do quite comfortably. And we're going to do round 2. All right, so let's start by moving over to this middle chain 2 spot. And to do that, we're going to slip stitch along. It's just a way of moving along without making any stitches. So slip stitch along until we get to this chain 2 space. And when we get there, we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to do the corner, which is what we did before. 1 cluster comprising of 3 double crochets with a chain 2 in between and back into that chain 2 space. We've done first, well, the first corner of our second row, and then we're going to carry on doing exactly like we did before, a cluster into each space all the way along. When we get to the other side here, we're going to do the same. We're going to do a cluster, 2 chains and another cluster in there, and all the way back. And this is pretty much what you do the whole way. It's really easy. I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a few rows, and then I'm going to show you if you're wanting to add some fluff in, or another color, or yeah, something like that, how to go about that. And then of course you can, I'm doing it all in this one color gray with a few additions of fluff, but you can of course change color every row. You can do exactly as you feel. So yeah, get a big ball of variegated wool. That might be one of the easiest ways to do it, and then you just carry on going round and round and round, and the color changes by itself, which is quite fun to see. Okay, so let's go round and round for a bit. I'll meet you back up when I want to add some fluff, and then I'll show you exactly how to do that. Okay, see you soon. Okay, we've got 3 more to go before we finish our second row, and I think I'm going to add a little bit of fluff here. So what you do there is there are 2 ways. You can either just join the fluff in with your wool and carry on, or if you don't want to use the combination, and I mean it's completely up to you, then you just take away that gray and carry on with just the fluff. Okay, so to do that, let's go into the next one, bring it up, and then we just add it alongside your wool and carry on, and it will just join in there. It is obviously a little bit thicker. You know, you've got 2 strands of wool if you have if you are using both, but that's not a problem. And let's do a couple clusters with a combination of the 2. Okay, last one in that gap, and the last one here. 1, 2. Oops, hope I'm showing you in the camera here. 1, 2, and 3. So then you've got your 3 clusters with the fur added, and once again you're going to find the top chain, and you're just going to slip stitch to that. Okay, now at this stage you can decide whether you want to leave the fluff behind, in which case you just let it go. But if you wanted to keep it with for a while, then that's also perfect. I'm going to drop it, so I'm going to go back to just the gray, and once again I'm going to slip stitch across so that I get to the chain 2 space in the middle. There we go, chain 2 space, where I'm going to start again by doing the 2 clusters separated by 2 chains. Okay, so that's your little addition. Look what it looks like. I think it's pretty cool. If you don't want to add that, then that's perfectly fine. If you're wanting to change color completely, go for it. This is exactly how you want it to be. Just make it like that. Okay, I'm going to carry on with quite a few rows, adding in some fluff here and there. This is a good time to possibly go and sit in front of a movie or an Audible and just listen and carry on, because you're going to be doing lots of rounds. In the newborn one, I did about 8 rows. In the kiddies one, there are about 13. So in the adult one, I would say at the very least 20 rows. So you've got quite a bit of work to do. So go and listen to something, watch something, or just relax in a comfortable chair and just go round and round and round and round until you have as many rows as you would like. Okay, so I'll see you when I've done quite a few more rows. When you're finished with your fluffy wool, you can either cut it off, which I'm going to do now, you just cut it. You actually don't even need to sew it in. You can, but we'll probably sew in the ends later, but you can cut it off at the beginning because it's really woven in there nicely. And then carry on, and then if you need it again, you do exactly the same in your new spot. Okay, so like that. I've done almost 3 rows, and I'm going to carry on going, adding some fuzz round about now. Okay, we've got 7 rows so far, and it looks like we've got a long way to go. So I'm going to do 20 rows, adding in the fluff randomly every now and again, and we'll meet up when I've got 20 rows. Okay, now I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rows. So almost, I mean, just over half of what I thought would be enough, but it's looking like I'm going to have to do way more than that. So I'm going to carry on going and report back at 20. Okay, here we have 21 rows, and it's not quite as long as I want it to be. I want it to be very warm, so I'm going to carry on and do a few more rounds, probably about another 5, and then report back and see how it's going. Okay, so here I've done 24 rows, and I still feel it's a little bit too short, so I'm going to carry on and do probably at least 30. And you can see also that I didn't manage to stay just using the grey. I moved on to a variegated grey and purpley and greeny colour, which was very pretty, and I think I'm going to finish off with that. So I'm going to do another 6 or so rows with this wool here, and then we'll do the bobble stitch. Okay, I've done 30 rows, and it is nice and long. I think that's pretty cool. And I'm going to now show you how to do the edging. We're going to do the bobble stitch for that, and let me show you how to do that. So to get going on your border, on your bobble stitch, you're going to work from the back. This is the front, this is the back here. So we're going to work from the back, because you push your bobble stitches forward, and yeah, you'll see they'll pop out from the front. Okay, so you can start anywhere. Just attach your wool and chain 3. Okay, there we go. Now you're going to be working, in fact, let's just quickly sew in this side just to secure our starting thread. Okay, so just go the one way, reverse, go another way, and lastly go back one more time. Okay, and that'll be pretty secure. You can cut that off, and your wool is nice and secure. All right, so now we've chained 1, 2, 3. It's pretty tight now. I've gone down 1 hook size, so I used a 6 for the poncho. I've gone down to a 5.5, and getting into this first chain looks like it might be a bit tight, but anyway, you go down and you go into the first chain that you made. There we go. And you're going to be making 5 double crochets together. And how you do that, you're going to do a double crochet. You got 3 on your hook, round, pull through 2. You got 2 on your hook. You're going to do another one just like that into that same first chain, round, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you've done it twice, and you've got 3 on your hook when you left over. Again, back into that same chain, yarn over, pull through the first 2. You've got 4. Again, yarn over, pull through the first 2. You've got 5. And last time, yarn over into that same first chain, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, so now you have got 6 chains on your hook. You're going to yarn over once again, and you're going to pull through all of them. Give it a bit of a tug so it goes through nicely, and you've done your first bobble stitch. Push it through. It's going to face that way, and then you're going to slip stitch into the very next stitch. So there's the very next stitch there. You're going to go into that stitch and you're going to anchor your bobble stitch like that. Okay, so there's your first bobble stitch done, and as I said, you can see it properly from the other side. Okay, now you can decide how far apart you want them. I am not too sure. I think probably about 5 stitches apart. Okay, so to get to your next one, you're going to slip stitch. It's a way of just moving, as I mentioned earlier, without actually making any stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's have a look. I think I'm going to do one more, 6. And that actually brings it into the chain space. We're going to do that all over again. We're going to chain 3. We're going to do 5 double crochets together into that first chain that we made. You do them until you've left with 5 stitches on your hook. There's 2, there's 3, in, pull through, round, pull through 2, 4, got another 2 to go, pull through, round, pull through 2, we've got 5, last one, in, round, pull through 2. Now you've got 6 chains on your hook. You can yarn over, pull through all 6, and you've done your second bobble stitch. Okay, once again you can give it a push to the front, find your very next stitch and anchor it in by doing a slip stitch. Okay, so you want the same gap in between, so we're going to move along. We're going to slip stitch into 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and from that next spot you're going to do your next bobble stitch exactly the same way. Okay, I'm going to do a whole lot and then I'm going to come back and we'll see what it looks like. Once again, this is going to take quite a while, so go make yourself comfortable in an armchair and go all the way around and do your bobble stitch border. I'll see you when it's all done. And there we go, all the bobble stitches are done on the side. That is what it is looking like, and it is completely finished. Thanks for getting to the end of my tutorial. I hope you've got a poncho that you absolutely love. There it is, nice and warm for winter. Thanks for joining me. Bye.